Hello everyone, and again welcome back to my YouTube channel. And this is Alok Pandey, and today I am shooting one of the special podcasts, and it's my pleasure. I am hosting very respected and senior Dr. Pratik Agrawal sir, Deputy Dean of School of Computing, Lovely Professional University, and he is also a coordinator of School 1, and he has more than 15 years of experience in this field. And yes, of course guys, sir completed his postdoctorate from Austria. So let's get started for this podcast, and we will ask some interesting questions to sir about his life journey in Austria and how he is managing his daily life. So let's get started. So hello sir, welcome to my YouTube channel.
Thank you, Alok. Thank you for having me here. Yeah, so it's my privilege to actually shoot for your podcast and just share my experience and my journey of last 15 academic and research experience with you people. Okay.
So, thank you so much sir for coming and giving me time. I know your schedule is very busy. So sir, let's get started. And sir, मेरा first question यही है कि sir, let's talk about your life journey from your school time to this position. So please share your experience.
Yes, so it is actually quite interesting. If I talk about my school journey, I belongs to a very small town. It is in Uttar Pradesh, in district Eta. So many of you might not have heard the name of my district. So actually in earlier days, actually it was very popular for crime and other kind of things. But nowadays, because of Yogi Adityanath ji government, the things are getting better. But yes, still it is not that developed as the other district and other cities are. So my schooling was from Saraswati Vidya Mandir. So I was completely in Hindi medium over there, and till 10th I completed all my schooling either in semi-government or government schools. So means it was not very different from any common child. After that, I actually completed my 12th from Uttar Pradesh board. So it was again a state board in Hindi medium, and then I actually compete for UP Tech exam. There was one state exam for engineering. So there in Agra, I completed my BTech, and during that time also it was very normal journey. But there was one turning point in my life, and it was when I cleared my GATE exam. And fortunately, actually, because I knew one thing, that if I will not actually clear my GATE exam, or I will not be having clear vision, then definitely I need to struggle over there, because my college was not so placement companies was not frequently coming as we can see here in LPU. Lots of companies are there, placement drives are there, the complete transformation is there in terms of placements. But at that time in 2006 or 7, even the students are not very much aware about means how to actually get themselves placed. Secondly, it was semi-government college, so even management was not actually much bothering about whether students are getting placed or not. But yes, the students were actually self-motivated, and those who were actually looking for any kind of future opportunities, they were encashing it. So I actually chose my GATE exam, and through that once I cleared it, and after my completion of BTech, what I did, I actually took an admission in IIIT Gwalior, Indian Institute of Information Technology and Management. So it is one of the premier institute, and it is the first IIIT in India, which was started around 1999 or 2000 in by MHRD, Ministry of Human and Resource Development. So now it is MOE, Ministry of Education. So I took an admission over there, and since then my entire journey was changed. And it is actually a very lovely coincidence to come at Lovely, because I was during that time in 2008 and 9, I still remember it was the recession time. And at that time, many of the IT companies who were recruiting the people, actually they were not offering the joining letters. And this was the period when Lehman Brothers, which was one of the top company, it was bankrupt in US. So this was the major recession time, and at that time the major impact was on IT sector. So I got placed in one company, but due to some unfortunate reason I didn't receive the offer letter over there, and then I switched to academia. And at that time, when I actually was recruited through campus placement drive at LPU, because this was my first experience to visit Punjab, and I was not very much familiar about the culture and other things. But when I entered into this journey, I actually really loved the culture of Punjab, the people over there, and the first and foremost thing is the environment that was provided for me as an individual at my university. So here, whatever the professionalism, whatever the experiences I have learned over there, as this is my first job, since then I am still associated with my same organization. So means in these 15 years, whatever I have learned or I have implemented, I will actually I would like to give the credit to this organization only, because I started my journey as assistant professor. After 11 months of experience, I was promoted as head of the department. So I was one of the youngest HOD at that time who was under 25. So this is very interesting, and I still remember like our Bardi Pro Chancellor ma'am, she actually showcased the photographs of some of the HODs who were under 25 in our annual function Sanidhya, and my photograph was there, and I was actually quite happy at that time, that because I never thinking of that such kind of event would be there, and my name will be actually highlighted in that way. So this is actually these kind of motivational factors were there in my life actually, and then I actually adapt the system, and system adapted me. It is a kind of journey. Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your experience in my podcast show. And sir, now moving to my next question. Sir, as you completed your doctorate from Austria, so sir, please share that experience, their culture, and what you learned from there. Whenever I am shooting podcast with any of my guests, I'm just scrolling their LinkedIn, and sir, I did same with your profile, and sir, I saw there you learned NLP, natural language processing, in Sanskrit to Hindi. So what is that?
So as I told you, Alok, earlier, like my schooling was from Saraswati Vidya Mandir. So Saraswati Vidya Mandir and other government schools, the Sanskrit, especially in Uttar Pradesh State Board, Sanskrit is one mandatory subject till 10th, and it was actually very close to my heart. So what I did actually, I tried why not to try Sanskrit and my computer science amalgamation all together in my research of PhD. So I completed my PhD from Punjab Technical University, and during that I actually discussed with my supervisor, Dr. Leena Jain. She is the professor in Punjab Technical University, one of the colleges in Punjab Technical University. So I discussed her about my topic idea that I am interested to actually work on some translation from Sanskrit to Hindi, and she was quite impressed, and ma'am allowed me actually, yes, proceed with this particular topic. And then I started my journey in that. If I talk about my research, I do not know whether people will be understanding or not about Sanskrit much, but it is a kind of prose text are there, some sentences are there, and based upon some Sanskrit grammar rule. So like stemming is there. Stemming, you understand, like to extract the root word after eliminating the prefix or suffix. So if I take an example, Ramasya. So Ramasya means sya is a suffix word. It is having its own meaning. We use some preposition like ka, ki, ke in Hindi. Okay, so Ramasya means Ram ka or Ram ke. Okay, so means the first step was just to stem the root words. So after stemming the actual word and extract the root word, so this was my first objective. So when I just correlate the entire natural language processing, so there are 5 steps. First is your lexical analysis, where we are extracting the tokens. Second is the syntax analysis, where we are making some parse trees and syntax trees. Third is the semantic analysis, where we are extracting the meanings of that syntax tree that we did. Next is the discourse integration, where we are associating one sentence with the next possible sentence, or making the connections between the sentences and make them discourse, make them independent by replacing the pronoun with associate noun. Okay, so this is the fourth step. Then move to the last one, it is the pragmatic analysis. So in pragmatic analysis, after making all the refinement in the sentences, we need to check whether the meaning of the entire sentence is meaningful or not, is correct or not. So in semantic analysis, we were talking about the meaning of individual word, while in pragmatic analysis, we are talking about the senseful meaning of the entire sentence. So all these 5 phases I correlated in my rule-based translation, where first step was just to identify each word, then make the stemming. After stemming, we did the parsing. After doing the parsing, each word is translated into equivalent Hindi meaning, like Ramasya means Ram ka or Ram ki, Ram ke, depending upon whether it is masculine gender or it is feminine gender. So ka, ki, ke will be adjusted accordingly. Then next was the discourse integration. So if I say like Ram ghar jata hai, वह राम घर जाता है, वह खेलता है. So here वह is one pronoun and pronoun is reflecting to Ram. So discourse integration is doing like Ram ghar jata hai, Ram khelta hai. So I am changing vah with Ram. So this is discourse integration. Now both the sentences are independent. So after discourse integration, now my next job was just to pragmatic analysis. In pragmatic analysis, if it is masculine gender, then what kind of prepositions I need to adjust. Okay, like Ram ne फल खाया. So it is फल को खाया. Rama ने फल खाया. So here we are writing khaya. Khaya is common. This is a common verb. But if I say Ram फल खाता है, but Rama फल खाती है. So here we are changing ti hai, ta hai, te hai. So means lots of grammar rules were applicable over there, and these kind of analysis was at the end done at the sentence level in last phase. That was the pragmatic analysis. So whatever the skills I learned in my schools about my Sanskrit language, I try to implement over there with the combination of computer science. Yeah.
Sir, seriously, like after listening you, I'm feeling so much इंस्पायरिंग सर. लिटरली लाइक मैं आपको बताता हूँ, लाइक जैसे जहाँ से मैं आ रहा हूँ मध्य प्रदेश सतना से सर, वी आर फ्रॉम ICSE बोर्ड. सो सर हमारे यहाँ मतलब ऐसे बोलते हैं जो MP बोर्ड से हैं कि सर वो MP बोर्ड से है तो वो तो ज़्यादा कुछ कर नहीं पाएगा, हिंदी मीडियम से है. बट सर आप उसका पूरा एकदम अच्छा एग्जाम्पल दिखाए हो सीरियसली, मतलब इतना आप सक्सेस अचीव करके. सो सर ओके सर, नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन के ऊपर मूव करते हैं. सो सर लाइक इन द जनरेशन ऑफ AI बूम, अभी जैसे चैट GPT है और भी बहुत सारे AI टूल्स हैं. सो सर लाइक स्टूडेंट्स को लाइक वी आर डूइंग इंजीनियरिंग. सो सर इज़ इट इनफ फॉर आवर करियर कि बस सर इंजीनियरिंग कर लिए उसके बाद कॉर्पोरेट जॉब करें हम लोग, और सर हम लोग को MTech के लिए जाना चाहिए, मास्टर्स के लिए जाना चाहिए. एंड सर इफ़ वी आर गोइंग फॉर मास्टर्स, सो इंडिया इज़ बेस्ट और वी शुड go outside foreign countries?
See, I think in my last answer, you asked actually 2 questions at that time. One was related to Sanskrit and second was related to my postdoc journey.
Austria, yes.
So yeah, it was missed out.
Yes,
so I just continue with that, then I come to your next question. So in Austria, it was not actually quite easy for me to decide because already I was having at that time one kid and he was just 2 years. Now he is 7 years old, and I am having another kid who is now 2 years old. So if I actually look back at that decision, it was quite tricky for me to decide, and even I would actually like to give the credit to my family, because they supported a lot, my wife, my parents, even especially my kid actually, who allowed me actually to go there, because these are those moments now when your kid is 2 years, 3 years, 5 years old now, they are having lots of expectations from their parents, like as a parent, their expectation is like, I as a father need to devote much time with them. Okay, so but still I took that decision, but frankly telling that now I think that that was right choice for me, because I have learned a lot from there. As I told you, like immediate after MTech I joined here, and I involved in my professional life. Okay, I was actually working over here, so I did not devote much time on my serious research. When I say serious research, it is not just like actually writing the paper and publishing it. Yes, seriously means, are you actually involved in the actual research methodology? Are you involved in some scientific activities that you are doing? So for that I could not actually devote much time, okay, with my professional life. During my PhD also, actually it was on part-time basis, so I could not actually devote much time on my other research part, because at that time, as Sanskrit was very close to my heart, so I could actually find the time for that. But what next? Okay, and there is always a difference between the scientific writing and normal writing. Okay, so I was actually trying to learn these things of writing skills on scientific manner by myself when I was in India. But when I devoted my complete 2 years during my postdoc, then I learned that scientific writing is completely different, and for publishing a good journal paper, okay, it requires lots of skills, and those skills are not just to have a good innovative idea. Those skills are that how to present your approach and how to present your results, so that the person who is reading your work must be learning something out of it. Okay, so those kind of skills I learned under the supervision of my professor over there, Dr. Radu Pradhan. Actually, he actually guided me a lot, and I still remember when I actually submitted my first draft to him, actually he was not much happy with that. And he actually simply said, no Pratik, you need to work hard on writing the paper. And I actually took all his suggestions and guidance in a very positive way. And I wish to share something like during my 2 years of postdoc, I published more than 20 papers, and all were in Scopus or SCI. Yes, sir. And during that time I edit books also with the international publishers, and 7 book chapters I published. So this was my total outcome of my postdoc. And other than this, lots of skills I have learned during that, and lots of networks and connections with the professors and researchers which I did. And there are many good friends from different countries that I am still having because of that experience. Yeah. Now come to your second question about like about masters, whether the person needs to do masters from India or abroad. Definitely in India lots of opportunities are there. If you are getting something really good, okay, any of the university that comes under top 50 rank in NIRF, I would recommend to go for that. Okay, and other than this, everybody should try for GATE exam at least once, because in BTech, if you are having the GATE exam, lots of opportunities are there, not only in India but also abroad. In Singapore, NTU and NUS, these are 2 renowned universities, Nanyang Technical University and National University Singapore. So these are THE World Ranking top universities where your GATE score really matters. India's GATE, Graduate Aptitude Technical Exam, it is GATE. So that particular GATE score they consider. Okay, so I would suggest everyone, actually this is the self-evaluative analysis. If you are appearing in GATE exam and you are getting a good score, definitely you have some technical knowledge about whatever you have studied in your graduation. So everybody should actually try at least once. And definitely in abroad, especially in European region, lots of universities are there in Germany or Austria or Switzerland, okay, which are in top 100 ranks or 200 ranks worldwide, and lots of research infrastructure they are having. So you will be getting lots of opportunities to collaborate with the international people, researchers, and you will get that kind of exposure. So when you talk about the exposure, that exposure might not be getting in India. If you really want to get the diversity and you want to learn something from others, then foreign universities can give you that flavor. Otherwise, lots of opportunities in India itself we have for masters.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir, for your answer. And sir, my next question is, sir, as you publish so many research papers, so I'll talk about that. So sir, like we are in fourth semester of our engineering, so now our professors are saying us to publish a paper, do a research paper from Scoops or something. It will benefit on your CV. So sir, like we are noob, we don't have any knowledge about research paper. So sir, can you explain what is research paper and how we can do research paper, and on what topic, from which platform, and how much it will be helpful for our CV?
See, what happens, like nowadays the things are getting advanced, okay, as the competition is too much, okay, and if you want to keep yourself colorful in the crowd of black and white, then you need to do something extra. And this is the reason that everybody is expecting that at the UG level you should do some publications. I still remember at my during my college days, I was not actually having that kind of exposure. And also nobody was talking about research.
Yes.
When somebody was saying, okay, I need to write a paper, it means we presume that that person is looking for either MTech or PhD.
Yes,
but now there is a paradigm shift from that era to this time. So now everybody is actually trying to involve himself or herself in some research activities. What happens, like if you are looking for some international internships, if you are looking for some MS programs from abroad, if you are looking for some international placements, if you are looking for some higher studies in top universities in India itself, then, and if you are having some quality publications in Scopus conference or journal or SCI publications, then definitely it will give some edge in your resume. So if I say, like there are, let's say 10 seats and 100 applications are there, what would be the criteria to filter them out? Everybody is having 70%, 80%, 90% score. So your qualification percentage is not the only criteria to filter them out. And in 5 or 10 minutes interview, no examiner can decide whether the student is actually fully capable or not. But based upon your research orientation, based upon your research interest, based upon your skill sets, based upon your global certifications and other skill sets, other achievements, it gives some indications to the reviewer to decide whether this student is having caliber or not. So if you are having some quality publications at your UG level, definitely it will add some value in your CV, as well as it will help you in deciding your careers. Okay, so career is not only the corporate job. It is clearly a myth that okay, if I am doing my BTech and after my BTech, during my BTech, if I am placed, my career is set or this is my only goal. Corporate job is one aspect. There are many other factors which are equally important to build your career. If you are placed in any higher studies program at a good university, either in India or abroad, or if you have started your own startup, your venture, and you are giving the recruitment to other people, this is also a career. Okay, if your parents are having a business or industry and you are helping them after getting your qualification, after getting your degree, and if you are helping them in their business to grow, this is also a career. So means first of all we need to come out from a myth that only the company placement is the career. Okay, so when you involve yourself in research publication, you involve yourself in some kind of book writing, you involve yourself in some kind of startup, so it means your opportunities for other career pathways are equally open. Okay, in BTech, why we people are actually encouraging the students to learn how to write the paper, reason being, like if you will be like involved a lot in writing the publications, as I earlier told that there is a quite difference between the ordinary writing and scientific writing. It means those scientific writing skills would be there. Okay, we are encouraging our students to publish the patents and grant them. If you have any innovative idea, meet with your teachers, discuss your idea with them, just design the prototype, submit it, and university is helping to publish them and get the grant for those patents. So all these kind of initiatives somehow helping our students to groom in their career. Okay, now it comes means how to write a paper. If as a teacher I am saying okay, you need to submit a paper and my job is over, it is completely unfair. Okay, because as a student you might not be having that kind of exposure. So as a teacher my responsibility is that I need to tell about the basics of the research, how to start your research journey. Okay, what all are the key factors which are important to actually understand before thinking about writing any quality paper, how to collect the data sets, how to implement the research models, how to compare them with the existing state of the art work, okay, how to conclude your work, what are the novelty that you need to identify. Okay, so means these are the what is the writing style, what are the references, how to cite them. So these are some scientific things which must be shared with everyone before demanding that okay, these are the targets and you need to submit it. For this, if you want to involve yourself in writing a research paper, you first know where is your interest. If you are good in, let's say, one technology, machine learning, or you are good in data security, or you are good in, let's say, cloud computing or parallel computing or blockchain. So first of all, you need to just read out some already published quality papers. You need to understand what are the research gaps that they are having, or what are the future findings or future plans that they have mentioned over there in their paper. Okay, because each researcher, they must have mentioned, and they usually mention that the conclusion of their entire research is XYZ, and these are some future findings that they are supposed to, or they are aspire to do in future, okay, in coming research. So you need to identify that future plans, you need to identify the research gaps, and accordingly you need to think how to how to implement your model or how to propose your model so that it will actually cover that gap in a better manner. Okay, so this is the first and foremost thing that you as a beginner level you need to start while you are thinking to write a paper. So first read out the quality research paper of others, identify some research gap, then try to propose some solutions that will fill those gap, and then implement that model and present your results, compare it with the existing work. Yes. This is the actual approach that everybody should follow, in my opinion. Yes, and if you are following it, definitely see, the success does not come overnight. Yes, sir. It requires time and efforts. So might be after 6 months efforts or 1 year efforts, you will be gradually experienced in research domain, and then you will be automatically your gut feeling will be actually saying, okay, this is a good work or this is not a good work, and whether I need to plan in this way or in that way. So these things will automatically come from you.
Thank you so much, sir, for this explanation. And sir, now moving to some of the questions which I asked from college students. So sir, like sir, when we are entering in college, we all are coming for a good placement. And sir, we all know a famous quote, eat, code, sleep, repeat. So sir, eat, code, sleep, repeat. But although we know that code, we are just trying to apply in our daily life, but then also we are unable to do, we are not consistent. So sir, how to get that thing?
See, in computer science engineering, if you just ask me, my straightforward question will be like, without programming, it is very difficult for anyone. Yes, in computer science to survive. But programming is not the only thing. The important is your logic building. Yes, sir. Okay. When I was studying, I was doing my I was actually studying in BTech. At that time, C was very dominating language. Yes. Okay. Before that, Photon was there. Okay. C++ was very popular at that time. Java was at the boom. Still Java is at the boom, but at that time, people were thinking about, okay, if you will be doing Java, then this is the highest peak of your programming. Nowadays, means at that time, people were not very excited about Python programming. But now if you will be talking about, then I will be saying that Python is very much popular and it is very common in the programming community. Java is equally popular, but they have their different aspects and they have their different segments. Programming languages will come and go, yes, but if your logic building is there, then definitely you can learn any new language and you can unlearn any old language. Yes, okay, because it is just a matter of syntax. Yes, sir. To learn the syntax, if I write C in, C out, or I write printf scanf. Yes, sir. Okay, so that particular concept is getting changed, yes, or the syntax is getting changed, but concept will remain same. Yes, sir. It is just like if Maruti is there or Ferrari is there. Whenever I actually convince my students, I usually take this example. The ABC is same. Yes, sir. Accelerator, brake and clutch. Either you are driving Ferrari or you are driving Maruti. In both the cars, the basic concepts are same. If you know, means what is ABC of driving, then you can drive Ferrari also after few experiences. Yes, sir. Okay. So means my suggestion to any student who actually is looking for programming, he must work on his logic skills. If your logical ability is good, if your logic building is good, then any programming language you can use, and means any product based company, if you are talking about now, those product based company, they do not actually fix that you need to run a code in a particular programming language. They demand the optimal solution. They demand that whatever the solution you are providing, it must give the optimized way, the result in a very optimized way and in a very optimized complexity, time and space. Okay, so that particular expectation clearly indicates if your logics, your algorithm part is good, then you can crack the any placement phase. Okay, any placement drive you can easily clear. So you won't have any kind of challenge. But on the other hand, if you are focusing on the programming language but your logic building is not good, but you know how to write a code, then it is just like cramming, and that cramming of programming language will not work longer. Okay, secondly, if you really want to excel in programming skills, you need to do more and more practice. If you are practicing a lot, definitely your phobia towards the programming language will automatically be moved out. So that programming phobia can only be removed only if you are doing lots of practice. It is just like if I am not actually feeling good in solving the mathematical equations, then I need to solve the mathematics. More and more practice if I will be doing in mathematics, then only I will be actually loving mathematics.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So like if any student is not good in maths, it's like sir, I'm not good in maths. So sir, I can crack product based companies or not?
See, do not actually consider maths as a subject.
Yes, sir.
Maths is the foundation of engineer.
Okay, sir.
Try to understand. If you are not good in maths, then I would suggest do more and more practice onto it. Yes. Maths is not like your algebra or I say arithmetics, okay, or geometry. It is not like that. Mathematics means your logic building.
Yes, sir.
If you can make some logics, you are very calculative. Okay, you are having that kind of analytical skills, then automatically you can learn the programming skills. You can crack any kind of I say placement drive, or you can actually clear any product based company activity.
Yes.
Okay, so mathematics is not bound with any particular subject. Mathematics is an art how to solve a problem in a very specific way. So my approach can be different from your approach to solve it. If I say that okay, 88 plus 98, so you might be adding like first 88 plus 2 90, 98 plus 2 100, then total you will be taking, it would be 190 minus 4. This can be your approach.
Yes.
My approach can be okay, 80 plus 90 plus 16.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so means whether my approach is more effective or your approach is more effective, it actually really matters, because at the end you are getting the answer, that is fine. But now the people in this competitive era, they are interested to know what is your approach, and your approach will come only if you are having that logical ability, and mathematics is the foundation of engineering.
Yes, sir.
So you cannot actually keep yourself aside from mathematics and you will be saying that okay, independently I can do wonders. So my suggestion to my students is that actually do not actually take it as a phobia.
Yes.
Mathematics is like it should be in your DNA, and it doesn't mean that you must be good in differential equation or you must be good in integration.
Yes, sir.
Mathematics means anything that you are learning, it must be very calculative and having some logics, because everywhere mathematics is there.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and see, I am sitting over here, there is a logic behind it. You are shooting my podcast, there is a logic behind it.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so without logic nothing is there.
Yes, sir.
Okay, if you talk about, you are talking about AI or machine learning or cyber security.
Yes, sir.
Okay, everywhere there is a mathematics behind it.
Yes, sir, exactly.
Okay, so you can't actually keep it independent, and mathematics does not mean that whatever you have studied in your 12th or in your BTech. Mathematics means whether your brain is calculative or to make some logics
Yes, sir.
to solve.
Thank you so much, sir. So, sir, my next question is, sir, like when we are coming to university, when we are coming in LPU, there are so many different societies are there. So, sir, is it compulsory or we should join any societies like placement cell or DSW or whatever? Sir, we should join these societies or it is time of waste according to you?
See, for holistic development, these kind of activities will somehow help you in your career building.
Yes, sir.
Let's say you are involved in podcast activities. All the students are not doing these kind of things.
Yes.
Definitely some kind of confidence or some kind of initiative you are having, then others all are not having.
Yes, sir.
Na? These kind of confidence definitely you can earn or gain if you are involved in various activities. Okay, those activities can easily be participating, you can easily participate in those activities if you are having that environment within your surroundings.
Yes, sir.
If this particular room is designed for a podcast and it is easily approachable to us, then only we are actually sitting over here.
Yes, sir.
If we are not having that environment, let's say there is no such room or there is no such infrastructure, then how we will be doing it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so means here your university, if providing that kind of holistic environment,
Yes, sir.
my personal advice is just to opt it, just to select it, just to adapt it for individuals' growth.
Yes, sir.
Just to score 9 pointers or just to get 10 grades, 10 pointer grades, na?
Yes, sir.
And if you are not involved in any holistic development activity or you are not doing any kind of personality development activity, those 10 pointers will not suffice the purpose. When you will be appearing in the interview, when during your professional life, when you will be interacting with different people, when you will be participative in various activities and events, automatically your visibility will be more than others, and that kind of skills you can earn during your school and college life only. And these clubs, these associations, student associations, they actually give you an opportunity to lead, to participate, to organize, okay, to actually excel and take the decisions by your own. So all these kind of skills, liberties you can learn while you are actually a part of any association or club.
Yes, sir.
Okay, these classroom teachings will not be actually doing these kind of experiences.
Okay, sir. So, sir, like I know you are so busy. So, sir, I will ask only few questions, 1 or 2 questions. So, sir, if you will get chance to go back in your college life or your school life, so, sir, what are the things or activities you will do? सर लाइक आपको कुछ लगता होगा ना कि जैसे हम लोग LPU में हैं तो बहुत कुछ हम लोग को अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ मिल रही हैं, इतना हमारे स्कूल में भी नहीं था, और जैसे आप बोले कि आप हिंदी मीडियम से थे तो सर उस टाइम पे नहीं होगा. तो सर अगर आपको मौका मिले जाने के लिए अपने टाइम मशीन में पीछे, तो सर आप क्या वो चीज़ करना चाहोगे?
See, definitely I would love to enjoy my student life, which I somehow missed, actually, just to overthink about my career.
Yes, sir.
Okay, because at that time I was actually very career conscious, because I had only one opportunity, that I need to do engineering and I need to be involved in some like job or something like that.
Yes, sir.
So at that time I was not certain about if I will be deviating myself from studies,
Yes,
whether I would be succeed in my life or not. But when I see the students who are doing good in their other skills also, in parallel with their studies, then I realized that I missed that kind of time where I actually participated least in those activities, holistic development activities, and because of that I actually had to what I say, like struggle in my initial professional life to learn the things by myself.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is one thing that I would really love to change. Secondly, like my wish was just to actually go for civil services.
Okay, sir.
Because of some reasons, some constraints, I could not actually appear in that particular thing. So definitely, if I would be having that opportunity to go into the past, then definitely I would actually love to try once with proper preparation in civil services.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. And sir, like my last question, so sir, like we are in college life, we are very bad in time management. So sir, like now also when I came to your office, you gave me time, sir, and sir, you are very punctual. So sir, can you guide us like how to manage time and our professional life and personal life, sir? What is your thought process behind this?
See, Alok, what happens, like everybody is having time.
Yes, sir.
But what happens, our priorities are not decided. Okay, if we can work out on our priorities, if we know that okay, task A is on my priority than task B, and task B is having more priority than task C, then automatically I will give my preferences accordingly. I take one example, like एक फादर और उसकी डॉटर का एक छोटी सी स्टोरी है. वो एक बार एक बेटी अपने फादर से कहती है कि दैट माई दिस वार्डरोब इज़ फुल ऑफ क्लॉथ्स एंड आई एम नॉट हैविंग सफिशिएंट स्पेस फॉर माई फर्दर टू कीप माई फर्दर क्लॉथ्स ओवर देयर, सो प्लीज़ ब्रिंग अ न्यू वार्डरोब फॉर मी. उसके फादर सोचते हैं, वो कहते हैं यार इतनी बड़ी एक अलमीरा दे दी हुई है, सब कुछ है, बट फिर भी है ना इसको अरेंज नहीं हो पा रहा है एंड शी रिक्वायर्स मोर. तो वो अपने बेटी से कहते हैं चलो बेटा एक काम करते हैं, एक वीक में 7 days होते हैं, जस्ट आइडेंटिफाई 7 pairs ऑफ क्लॉथ्स दैट यू वियर ऑन रेगुलर बेसिस. जो आपके सबसे अच्छे पसंद के हैं उन पेयर्स को अलग करो. बच्ची ने है ना अपने वो 7 अपने जो पेयर्स थे वो अलग किए, है ना. नाउ देन ही आस्क्ड ओके इनको फोल्ड करो, फोल्ड करके पहले सारे कपड़े निकाल लो एंड फोल्ड करके अब इनको सबसे पहले रखो क्योंकि ये आपके सबसे फेवरेट हैं और सबसे आप रूटीन में यूज़ करोगे. उन्होंने कहा ठीक है. शी डिड दैट. नेक्स्ट टाइम व्हाट हैपेंड, उन्होंने कहा कि अब एक काम करो, आप पार्टी वियर्स भी होंगे आपके कुछ फंक्शंस वगैरह में जो आप यूज़ करते हो, कि आप एक काम करो, आप अपने 5 से 7 पेयर्स ऐसे कपड़ों के निकालो. उसने आइडेंटिफाई कर लिया बेटी ने. उन्होंने कहा ठीक है ऐसे फ़ोल्ड करो, फ़ोल्ड करके यहाँ रखो, रख दिया. ऐसे करके उन्होंने अलग अलग प्रायोरिटीज़ उनकी फ़िक्स की और फिक्स करने के बाद देखा कि सारे कपड़े प्रॉपर तरीके से अरेंज हो गए एंड स्टिल दैट वार्डरोब इज़ हैविंग सम स्पेस. इसका मतलब ये था कि दैट फर्स्ट वी नीड टू डिसाइड द प्रायोरिटीज़ ऑफ ईच थिंग इन आवर लाइफ. मेरे स्टडीज़ की क्या प्रायोरिटीज़ है मेरी लाइफ में, किसी एक्टिविटीज़ की, गेम्स की क्या प्रायोरिटीज़ है, मेरे फ्रेंड्स की क्या प्रायोरिटीज़ है, मेरी फैमिलीज़ की क्या प्रायोरिटीज़ है. इट्स यू हु विल डिसाइड बेटर कि हाँ भाई ये मेरी प्रायोरिटीज़ है. सबकी प्रायोरिटीज़ अपने हिसाब से कम ज़्यादा हो सकती हैं, है ना, ऊपर नीचे हो सकती है, बट इट्स यू हु विल डिसाइड दैट व्हाट इज़ माई फर्स्ट प्रायोरिटी, व्हाट इज़ माई सेकंड प्रायोरिटी, व्हाट इज़ माई थर्ड प्रायोरिटी एंड अकॉर्डिंगली मैनेज योर टाइम टू डिवोट ऑन दैम. ओके, सो क्या होगा कि कभी मान लो 24 आवर्स हैं, ये तो चेंज नहीं होने, है ना, ये तो इतने ही रहेंगे. मान लो कभी आपके पास n नंबर ऑफ एक्टिविटीज़ आ गई और उन n नंबर ऑफ एक्टिविटीज़ में अगर कोई मिस भी होगी तो वो लीस्ट प्रायोरिटाइज्ड एक्टिविटी मिस होगी. कभी कभी हम लोग क्या करते हैं कि मीन्स जाने अनजाने हमें पता नहीं होता मीन्स किस चीज़ को हमने इंपॉर्टेंस देनी है, किसको नहीं देनी है. तो समटाइम्स वी डिवोट अ लॉट ऑफ टाइम ऑन दोज एक्टिविटीज़ विच आर हैविंग लीस्ट प्रायोरिटीज़. और उसकी वजह से क्या होता है, जो इंपॉर्टेंट चीज़ें होती हैं वो मिस हो जाती हैं. फिर हमें लगता है मेरे पास तो टाइम ही नहीं है, आई एम सो बिजी.
एग्जैक्टली सर.
है ना. तो मीन्स उस पर हमें थोड़ा सा वर्कआउट करना है और ये देखना है कि यार मैंने है ना किस चीज़ को कितना टाइम देना है और कब देना है. अगर हमने इस पर काम कर लिया देन एवरीथिंग कैन बी पॉसिबल.
Thank you so much, sir. And sir, like I'm just wrapping it up our podcast. So sir, like मेरा एक last question है आपसे. So sir, and like मैं आप लोग को बता रहा हूँ सर को थोड़ी सी टाइम की वजह से ये हम लोग यहाँ पे रैप अप कर रहे हैं और इसका सेकेंड पार्ट ज़रूर आएगा फॉर श्योर सर. एंड सर लाइक आपसे बस एक क्वेश्चन पूछूंगा सर, आप मुझे कुछ एडवाइस देना चाहते हो जो मैं लास्ट में सबसे पूछता हूँ अपने गेस्ट से कि क्या मैं अपने आप को इम्प्रूव करूँ और कैसा क्या है.
जितना है ना मैं आपको जाना हूँ आलोक, एज सच यू आर अ वेरी लाइक जेंटलमैन टाइप गाय के. मतलब 2 या 3 बार तुम आए हो, मैंने है ना हर बार आपको बोला कि नहीं बेटा अभी टाइम नहीं है, अभी है ना नेक्स्ट में प्लान करते हैं, अभी मीटिंग आ गई है मुझे वहाँ जाना है. एंड यू एक्चुअली वेरी हम्बली एक्सेप्टेड इट. है ना. तो लाइक ये अपनी नेचर को कभी मत छोड़ना. है ना. बिकॉज दीज काइंड ऑफ सोफिस्टिकेशन, these things will actually keep you ahead than others. ठीक है. सेकेंडली अपने है ना ये जो होलिस्टिक डेवलपमेंट वाली एक्टिविटीज़ हैं इनको करते करते अपनी स्टडीज़ में एटलीस्ट जो बेयर मिनिमम मेरा जो गोल है, मुझे पता है कि यार मैं यहाँ पे यूनिवर्सिटी में क्यों आया हूँ. है ना. what all are the expectations of my parents from me. Just keep those things in your mind. Okay, just leave everything on Almighty. Do your best and you will do wonders.
थैंक यू सो मच सर. एंड सर मैं आपको बताना चाहता हूँ लाइक विद दिस मेरा मेन फोकस सर इंजीनियरिंग प्लेसमेंट और कोडिंग का. तो सर मैं अभी 100 डेज कोडिंग चैलेंज कर रहा हूँ. सो आज उसका डे 22 है.
Great.
थैंक यू सो मच सर.
All the best for them.
Thank you sir. And yeah, this is all about this podcast guys. And नेक्स्ट पॉडकास्ट में मिलते हैं. सेकेंड पार्ट इसका ज़रूर आएगा सर के साथ. सो स्टे ट्यून्ड, स्टे हैप्पी एंड प्लीज़ सब्सक्राइब टू माय यूट्यूब चैनल. एंड थैंक यू सो मच सर.
Thanks.
थैंक यू सो मच सर.
Thank you guys.